Florida Governor Ron DeSantis might be former President Donald Trump's biggest challenger as we start looking ahead to the 2024 Iowa caucuses. However, there is a former congressman from Michigan who'd like to have a conversation with you before you make up your mind, and he wants you thinking about China.
We don't have 2 years or 4 years to get ready for this. China is trying to take a little bit of our economic prosperity, if not more. They're trying to push us off the world stage as a military dominant world power. They're expanding their nuclear weapons. So what we keep talking about is, okay, what can we do as Americans in the short term to get ready for that? You know, we have to unleash the private sector through innovation and less regulation, all of the things that we know we have to do, including, by the way, education. China is teaching their 8th graders quantum mechanics. Half of our high school seniors can't read at the 6th grade level.
Okay, so give us something tangible, because that's big stuff.
It is big stuff
there, right? So what is something tangible that we have to do as a country to compete with that?
We have to do several things. One, we got to stop spending money we don't have. $31 trillion. The interest on our national debt will soon surpass the Department of Defense budget in its entirety. Remember, that's just an interest check. That doesn't buy anything. And we have to pay it to countries like, well, China, right? And so we have to get our government under control, the spending under control. It needs to be smaller, more efficient, less costly, and it shouldn't get in the way. We have to immediately unleash the private sector to grow prosperity through innovation, less regulation. All of that has to happen. And that last piece is this education piece. It is a national crisis that we're graduating high school seniors can't read at the 6th grade level. You know, again, we have to compete with China that's saying America is soft and self-absorbed, and that's how we're going to push them off the world stage. Well, how do we do that? You know, you don't give a double bacon cheeseburger to the boxing champion of the world right before he goes in the ring, right? So we got to shed all of that extra and get ourselves ready through the things we just talked about.
Probably most of the Republicans we've had in here over the last 20 years have talked about spending, right? Now, it never seems to happen. We never balance the budget. Republicans, when they had the trifecta, if you will, did tax cuts, didn't offset it with spending cuts. Where's the will to do what you want to do?
So the first thing we have to understand is that we are no longer just the solo world dominant player in the world. And so I think when that happens, your politics starts to get small, right? We're feeding on each other. We've got our hands, Americans, around each other's throats, and we're just not letting go through these different political cycles. If we want to get a handle on spending, on this education crisis, on the size and scope and the strength of our U.S. military, we need to understand that, listen, somebody else wants what we have, and they're actively working against us to get it. And that's the Communist Party of China, and they're only going to get worse and more aggressive. Once we get Americans to understand, it gets a lot easier to start saying, do you really think we should borrow money from China to pay for a program that has proven not to work? I think Americans come to the sense that, nope, can't do that, shouldn't do that. And the same on every one of our things. And I agree with you. We always say we're going to build the best infrastructure in the world. Every candidate, Republican and Democrat, I've heard in the last few cycles say, we're going to do this. Last year, we were ranked 50th in the world. You know how much money we spend? It's outrageous. So we can no longer afford to have a government that isn't efficient, it isn't effective, and understands, like, listen, we're taking money out of your pocket. Shouldn't the government be held accountable for its use? We haven't really done that, and that's what we need to do.
You talked about education here. In our state, we are having what will now be our 3rd year debate on this about whether we need to send more public money to help kids go to private school. Kind of big picture nationally, which is what you'd be looking at. You talked about the scores. You talked about our kids not being able to do what they need to do. So what changes that? Is it an investment thing? Is it a priority thing? George W. Bush had his ideas that ended up being criticized, that may not have brought the results that some of the supporters have wanted. So how do we tackle that?
Well, I love what Governor Reynolds is trying to do here in the state. I think the money should follow the child, right? Parents need to be engaged in their child's education. It's paramount to a successful outcome, and that money we should shake up this notion that it's one monolithic institution run by people you maybe don't know in the school administration making decisions on behalf of what your child learns or doesn't learn. And clearly, if you look back the last 20 years, that model hasn't worked. Again, we're graduating kids, half of the graduates across America won't be able to read at the 6th grade level. That's a tragedy. I argue it's a disability. By the way, we can solve it. So what we need to do is give parents more choice, number one. But number two, it's not the teacher's fault that someone shows up in their classroom in the 9th grade and can't read at the 6th grade level. How do I teach that student material, right? This is all of our problem, and we need to understand it's all of our problem. And so what I would do is try to unleash, and there's some great reading reclamation programs. And you talked about the economy. They say if you can get everyone reading at grade level that graduates from high school, can add $1.5 trillion to the economy. Because remember, I'm knowing the material, I have more confidence, I can actually upskill from high school to do either college or vocational training or other things. So we unleash through, I would love to see a kind of an American Reading Corps volunteer program, not something the government has to pay a lot of money for, to get these kids up to grade level. In 14 weeks, there's private programs, they're not for profit around the country. We have one in Michigan that's just doing phenomenal things, can get those kids reading at grade level in 14 weeks by taking them out of the classroom 1 hour a day, 5 days a week for 14 weeks. Imagine the confidence, the changes, and what that can do for our future, our whole community's future, if these kids are caught up. That's the kind of thing we need to do. We need to be bold, we have to act fast, and we need lasting solutions to solve all of these things. And looking back is just really is not going to help us accomplish what we know is this threat that's coming at us.
You have some of the activists in your party, and then maybe some of the potential candidates even, sort of looking back at the way we went through COVID, alleging that Anthony Fauci may be some kind of criminal for stuff that he did. Where are you on all of this?
So what I would do, every state had some kind of a different theory, and I don't know if you remember in the beginning, they said don't wear masks, you're taking it away from somebody who should wear a mask. Then they said, well, maybe you should wear a mask. Then they said, oh, if you don't wear a mask, we'll put you in jail. I don't know about you, but it was pretty confusing to me. And my thing is, let's go back, everybody calm down. Don't try to get a pound of flesh out of this thing just yet. Go back and look at all the states that tried something different. Find out what worked. Find out what made it work. And maybe, in our state, Michigan, which I thought well overdid all of this, and a state like Florida that, had a more balanced approach to this, we ought to figure out what worked. Because this is not the last time we're going to have some pandemic. I mean, we are introduced in this new era that this is going to happen. And so what works? Where can I go to get honest information? And if we politicize and weaponize every decision that happened in this, we are not going to know for sure what not to do the next time and what to do the next time.
Should the pound of flesh come from China, though? If this originated there with something nefarious or careless or whatever?
I would probably chalk it up to being careless. We know they have bioweapons programs. We know they do research on things like, avian flu and other things. Boy, I used to be an FBI agent, and we would call that a clue. That there's some kind of connection with them being careless in their bioweapons program and this getting out in the way it did. We should know that. And listen, they're dealing with it now, and I think they're trying to put it under wraps. But this tells you the difference between two systems and why American democracy is the most amazing place in the world to be. They're locking down buildings and welding windows shut, letting people die candidly in these buildings. In America, we're trying to move on, and we're trying to grow through it, and we're trying to innovate our way out of it. No better place in the world to be than here, but we just need to understand we have challenges, and it's probably we're going to have a better chance of getting that done if we're not choking each other at Thanksgiving dinner because we have political differences.
All right, up next, the Insider's Quick Six, confusing Congressman Mike Rogers with Congressman Mike Rogers.